So you think you want to be a healer, or you think you are a healer, part 2. But are you ready and willing to do the work? This is such an important question to ask yourself. Are you ready and willing to do the work? In fact, that's something I actually put on my new patient paperwork, and I ask everybody that comes into my office, are you willing to do whatever it takes to move forward? And the automatic answer is always, I'm a 10 out of 10. Of course I'm ready. You know, whatever I'm experiencing, I'm done with it. I want to move on. And then so we start digging in there a little deeper. But are you really willing to do the work? Which on the surface seems easy enough, right? And the willingness is there. But when we start looking at how our outside lives will change when our inside world changes, things get a little more, a little scarier and cause a little more apprehension. When you look at, if you say you want to release or resolve depression, right? And maybe you've always been depressed, and maybe you're married, you have a certain job, a certain relationship with your husband, a certain place that you live. All of these things are kind of set and have been with you for a really long time. So looking at how are you going to change as your depression lifts, resolves, releases. As you let go of that kind of weight that's holding you down and you start to become a different person, how is your outside life going to then line up with those changes that are happening on the inside? The major things that comes down to is, will you still have that relationship with your husband? And if you don't, are you willing to communicate and work and bring that relationship up with you as your depression lifts? How is it going to affect your relationship with your children and the rest of your family and your loved ones? And then how's it going to affect your work or your job? Especially jobs are almost sometimes a bigger issue than the marriage, because that's where we get our financial security from, and it's safe, and we might not like our jobs, or we might even hate our jobs, but we show up because we know we have to survive and to get that income coming in. So as the depression lifts and resolves and you have more energy, are you going to be willing to settle for maybe a job that's not really in alignment with your higher purpose or path? And are you willing to risk changing any of those things? So that's really what it means. There's this superficial, are you ready and willing? And it's always a yes, absolutely. And then when we dig a little deeper and we really see bigger picture, the stuff that's going to probably shift, we realize that maybe not so much. Maybe we thought we were up here in willingness, but we're somewhere in the middle. All that to say that awareness is the biggest piece in this issue, and a willingness to communicate, to say, hey, I'm going through these changes. I'm working on myself to better myself. And, whether it's migraines, whether it's the depression or anxiety or whatever it is, the outside world is going to change. And when you tell those people that are close to you, your loved ones, your spouse, then you create the space to take them with you. And that's really, really important, unless you ultimately want to get to divorce. But that's never the intention of why I put this information out there. So are you ready and willing? You can't ask anything of your would-be patients or clients that you're not really willing to do yourself. So kind of feeling into those areas of, this is where I'm moving through those spirals. We'll cover that in another video. And this is where I'm chasing my tail and going in circles. And over here in this area, am I willing to start looking at that, to start shifting, right? Because if you're not willing to do this in your own life, the odds of you attracting people to work with to make these changes in their life are probably pretty small. And the other part of that is, you can't, if the people that are coming in to see you or would be coming in to see you are vibrating at a higher level than you are, maybe you have some dis-ease or ailment or something, some kind of most likely consciousness pattern that's holding you down here, and you have somebody that's vibrating above you, above you, come in, then you're going to start to project your issues onto them. And I don't know if you've ever seen that happen. I've definitely seen that happen before, especially in muscle testing with the nutritional technique that I do. Like if somebody comes in and they're healthier than you are, you're going to find your stuff on that person. So this is why it's so important to say, I'm not going to take anything off the table here. You know, these are the areas where my life is spiraling and flowing, and these are the areas where I'm chasing my tail. And I know that for me to really be of assistance out in the world, then part of that is looking at my own stuff. So hopefully that's encouraged you to look at some areas in your life where you are kind of stuck, or have maybe pretended that these things aren't bothering you. That's always a good indicator for me when I'm having a conversation about something that's going on with somebody else, and I keep thinking, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me. As soon as I say it the third time, I'm like, wait for it, waiting for it to come from something that's back here to front and center. And that lets me know that yes, there's work for me to do in that area. So again, I hope this inspired you to look at some things maybe a little differently, and to look into and explore how willing and ready you are to do those things to bring things to resolution and stop chasing your tail. So I'm Dr. Kate Flynn with Activating Ascension. I hope you enjoyed the second installment of So You Want to Be a Healer, and I look forward to catching you next time.